Hello and welcome to From the Back Seat. We are back, and I'm your host Ethan, and I'm joined today by.
Always, guys, it's Clark. I feel like we've said we're back so many different times. Maybe
Yeah.
now that I've purchased a mic stand, that we're officially back. That's what it really took. So yeah, we're back. People are saying we're back. The streets are saying we're back. The back seat is saying we're back. So
You know
we're
who's also
back.
back?
Not JJ McCarthy. He's not back.
Oh, I was gonna say the Padres winning 19 out of the last 21.
They've easily been back. They've been back for a month plus now. Even if they want to give us minor heart attacks when they play Miami or when they have to, have last minute heroics sometimes against the Pirates on the road. But they're very back. They're very back. They never left, though, you could say. They definitely left, but they're back.
The issue with the Padres, though, is just the NL West just decided that they're all back all at the same time.
Well, that is a problem. And the real thing, like everyone was talking about, like, how are they going to, like, when the Dodgers come back around, how are they going to play against them, against some of the better teams? Because people started to make jokes like, we haven't beat a real team in a while. We faced Austin Gomber. Actually, no, we don't. We don't face Austin Gomber in the Rockies. So we face the Rockies. That's a real team in my book. I know everyone says they're bad. They beat us all the time. But yes, and everyone in the NLS is back. The Diamondbacks are unreal. The Dodgers did lose tonight, though. They did
They
lose.
did,
So that's
but
big.
they've been the third hottest team in baseball outside of those
Outside of the
two.
Padres and the
Let's
Diamondbacks,
go
yeah.
so
I think
far.
I think the A's might have a better record than the Dodgers since the All-Star break, I want to say. They might actually have a better record. I could be wrong on that.
Well, going back to that point, JJ McCarthy's season has already come to an end, and it's August 13th.
I feel bad for JJ McCarthy, first off. And I feel bad for Vikings fans. And I feel bad because I'm smiling and I'm not happy about it. It's just like I thought he looked really good in the preseason game. People were making jokes like, his knee like felt that 25th drop back and was like, we're done, because he didn't obviously throw the ball out of Michigan. But I feel bad for him. And I think if you're a Minnesota fan, this just feels like, another poke in the side of what has been a long and sort of difficult, I don't know, couple of years of just. I feel like something always goes wrong for them during training camp. They have a track record of things going wrong in training camp or early on in the season that just kind of derails things.
Realistically, like now without the idea of having JJ McCarthy, now you have Sam Darnold the entire season.
People will be excited for
And
Sam Darnold for like 2 weeks because I already
I
saw
know,
like he
but
made a good pat. Like Sam will make a great couple throws and be like, maybe, just maybe, but it won't work. It's not going to work.
the
Sadly,
thing is of like right now the NFC North is probably the strongest division in the NFC with the Bears, the Lions, and then the Packers. Like, can the Vikings really survive with
they
Sam
can't, and they're
Darnold?
also sort of in this unfortunate situation that the roster is still too good for them to feel like be a bottom 5 team. They're not going to be able to get like a top 5 pick, I don't think, this season. But so they'll probably still pick top 10, maybe top 15, I think. And they'll
I
probably
don't
win
know.
some
I
games.
think I think they could be a bottom 5 team, to
I
be
don't
honest.
think that they will. I think Sam Darnold will still scrounge up enough. I think they have a good enough team around with them. Addison, with Jefferson. I think the defense looks better. I don't know.
This is my bold
They're
take.
gonna have Aaron Jones in the backfield. They're gonna have enough play action game if they want it. They're gonna have plenty of weapons.
My bold take is I think they're going to lose every single game against division opponents. I think
They'll
they're going to go
sneak
0
one
6.
out. They'll
I think
sneak
they're
one
going to go
out.
0 6.
They're not gonna go 0-6. They're not bad enough. You have to be really bad to go 0-6.
I know, but I'm telling you, I think they're going to be pretty bad.
Like, what would you say the record's gonna be?
I'm feeling a cold 5-12 right now.
I
Just
think
because
they
Jordan
might.
Addison also got hurt. Like they've
I think,
and
but like,
I mean,
okay, they were
okay,
almost.
just to put their offseason into perspective, and it's sad. Think one of their draft picks unfortunately passed away like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was sad. It's true. Forgot about
Like
that.
their offseason has just been maybe one of the worst if the Chiefs didn't exist this offseason. Because the
I
Chiefs
don't
just
know.
continue to get arrested.
Yes, the Chiefs seem as if they can't go every 2 weeks with some sort of accident. But yeah, the Vikings, I would say it's not in the same ballpark. I just think it's like unfortunate and very sad.
It's just
for them.
unfortunate. It's bad. It's just
The Chiefs is just stupid, terrible decisions. The Vikings is just like it's tragically sad. Like that's theirs. But I don't think I still think like they were competing in games where they had like Josh Dobbs who didn't know the playbook and had Nick Mullins winning them games. They'll win more. They'll win enough games with Sam Darnold probably than they want to be a top 10 pick.
We'll see. I just don't think. I just think they got worse, to be honest.
I don't think they got
already before the offseason. Like I don't think Aaron Jones is like that much.
I think
of a
there's plenty left. I think Aaron Jones has plenty left.
He's on the wrong side of 30. I mean,
He
but
looked
I wouldn't have signed Josh
great last time you saw
either.
him, though. You didn't think he
Agreed,
looked-
but at any point, running backs can fall off the face of the earth.
He's not Austin Eckler, if that's what you're having PTSD back to.
Whoa. Austin Eckler is a star running back for the Commanders.
Just hand him the ball 300 times a year, see what happens.
Did you like that quote he told Kay Adams of like, yeah, the Chargers wanted me to run the ball like 150 times?
Well, you had the acceleration of a Ford Model T, so it made it difficult for anyone to want to give you the ball. So I did see that quote, though. It's pretty, I mean, I enjoy the self-confidence, but to be that unaware of how, like that sideline run of him, I think is not to say that I could go much faster in pads, but that was
13
pretty bad.
miles per hour.
I mean, complete lack
13 miles per hour. I think I can sprint 13 miles per hour.
I would like to know, like, does he still think he's actually fast? Like NFL?
I don't know. Clocking in on a run, your top, because that was his top speed on a 40-yard run.
Well, the thing is, too, is like any other like average NFL back easily breaks that. There was no one close to him at the time of having that ball in his hands.
I don't think any average practice squad back beats that time.
Most guys house that. He didn't, but that's a tough video. That'll live. And then to say to Kay Adams, like, I wish I would have gotten the ball more. It's just, I don't know if that's just pure bliss or I don't know what it is. Pretty bold claim though.
For sure. Speaking of that, but let's get into the NFL season. We've been away for a little bit. It's been the entire off season. Preseason is back. Clark and I, unfortunately, both watched preseason games.
As one does.
I actually watched the Hall of Fame game the week before.
I didn't watch the Hall of Fame game. I couldn't.
Like a true psycho.
There was like nothing exciting to me there. Like the Hall of Fame game is by far the worst preseason game. I don't think that's necessarily even debatable. Like there's nothing enjoyable about it.
It shouldn't even exist, to be honest.
Like I get why they do it. Like, oh, you have two teams that are involved. I believe in like someone's being retired from their respective teams. That's why they're there.
Oh, is that the idea?
But that can't be right, can it? The Bears played who?
It was the Bears and
Texans.
Yeah, because Texans
Andre Johnson get retired.
Not Andre. Maybe it was Andre Johnson.
I was gonna say who else from the Texans would be getting retired?
D'Amico Ryans, but he's not a Hall of Fame player.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
It must be Andre Johnson.
I think I can't remember now the Hall of Fame class.
No, you're right.
But then did the Bears have anyone? Oh, Devin Hester. They had Devin Hester.
Yeah.
So I think it's two teams that are supposed to be like they have inductees, but it sucks. It's not fun. I didn't watch it. I'm glad you watched it though.
I did watch it. I tapped in. I learned that Tyler Bagent is so good.
Hard Knocks.
Cole and I bet on it.
Is that what
we
the
dropped
algorithm you guys have created with your
No, we dropped a little prize picks on that. Cole was 0 for 4. I let him pick it
on preseason football.
Yep, I should have done the exact opposite, but that's okay.
What did your wife think about that?
Loves it.
She was sure, she loves it.
Makes that bread.
Likes to it's passive income if you play it right, as they say.
Speaking of that, because we're talking about betting, there is a futures bet that I think everyone should be hammering right now.
Oh, thank God. Please tell.
Justin Herbert.
Okay. This isn't biased at all. I can tell you right now.
No.
Justin Herbert, the first words out of your mouth, unbiased.
Justin Herbert's rushing line right now, for rushing touchdowns is what I should say, is 4.5. And the way that Greg Roman runs quarterbacks, I think they're going to use Herbert a lot in the red zone. 4.5 seems like a low line for how much
they got the Gus bus back there, man.
They do have the Gus bus, but I think they're going to run a lot of read option at the line once they get to the goal line.
Do you like that idea though?
Yeah, I don't mind
them running the read option semi-regularly.
I mean, maybe I don't like it as much anymore now that he has this foot problem.
Yeah, he has plantar fasciitis.
No, he has an injury to his plantar.
Oh, he has his
fasciitis.
injury to his plantar fascia.
They have never said he actually tore it.
Okay, so he has it, but
He has an injury to his plantar fasciitis.
yes,
Plantar
I got what you're saying. Just
fasciitis.
like Joe Burrow had the calf, like, oh, it's just, it hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
injured.
if you ask Jim Harbaugh, he's working through something.
Classic Jim, man. Total.
That's all he
answer.
says. They're
Love
working
it.
through something. I'm pretty sure Joey Bosa broke his hand like a week ago, and Jim's reaction was just
Working through something.
Working through something.
Working through anger management.
I mean, yes, Joey is known for that.
Didn't he break his hand? No, he did. It was with Brandon Staley last year, right? He broke his hand punching a
in
locker.
The locker room. It was the game that he got injured in the locker room. He punched it. And the only reason it was ever confirmed was because the next game he was in the owner's box and he had a cast on his hand.
Take notes, kids.
If
you want to prove how much you care about your respective sport, punch objects. Inanimate objects. Just punch your locker. That's what the greats do.
Yeah, but let's do a little whip around since we both watch preseason football. We might as well tell the people what they need to know for fantasy because that's all people care about in preseason. Yeah. They're like, oh, this random UDFA running back got 3 carries. That must mean now that he's going to make a roster.
Clearly.
For those
who's the kid from that everyone's talking about from Kansas City, the running back? He had that like bold. There's a Kansas City running back.
Is it guy. Like the fantasy community is like all into it?
No, but like he has been getting a lot of carries during both practice and in the game. Like I guess the first preseason game, he like jumped up to the number 2s, using some reps with the number 1s. Like I know Pacheco is there. I know. I can't remember his name. Let me look him up.
Wow. The fantasy community, please let us know.
I don't know if this is just like bullshit. But
I'll give you a little update on Chargers. If you're looking to add a fullback, the Chargers are making our guard Jordan McFadden our fullback.
That's good.
So if you're looking to add that to your fantasy team,
the Bengals used to use Domata Peko, their D tackle, just as a fullback. Yeah, okay. So here's the name: Carson Steele.
Oh,
Carson Steele, the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes. That is a name I have surprisingly heard. Like people are like, oh, he might see some carries this year.
Carson Steele.
Yeah. Like here is Jesse Newell, who is a beat reporter for the Kansas City Star, said Chiefs rookie running back Carson Steele has had most of his reps with the 1s and 2s today out of all days at camp. So like he's getting a lot of reps, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know what that means for Pacheco
owners. Yeah, look out, Pacheco owners.
Yeah, Carson.
You know, someday some person on TikTok tomorrow is going to be like, his ADP is way too high. You need to sell Pacheco.
Yeah, someone will be like, oh, no running back strategy. Draft Carson Steele. He looks like, what was that one Michigan linebacker that played for the Patriots? Winovich?
Oh, yeah.
He looks like that, but just he plays running back.
Did he play well in the preseason?
He had 4 carries for 30 yards and a touchdown. And he had one run that he just ran over some guys. Like just Mack truck. So Carson Steele.
Look out.
Or if you want like a real one, I mean, I don't know. Andre Yoshibach for the Bengals, I think is going to have a pretty big year. I think he's going to see a lot of targets early. I think he's going to take that Tyler Boyd role, but probably be better at it because he's not super old. But I don't know. That could also be because they have Jermaine Burton looks really good.
That's the thing. Is there enough targets? Who is the Bengals tight end?
Mike Gesicki.
Oh.
So but I mean, I'm fine with that. It'll just be, I think Gesicki will be the strictly wide receiver. He cannot block.
Well, yeah, he cannot block.
I was watching the All-22 with, just to watch their first drive because he was in, and they had him in for one running down and he just got thrown by whoever's backup.
He cannot block. And he did that little gritty thing when he scored last year.
I will say if he did do that, I mean, I thought it was pretty stupid and funny the first time he did it, but I'll be like, that's pretty dumb. But I think it was pretty funny. But yeah, target share, great question because Higgins looks great. You have Jermaine Burton, Chase, Gesicki. I mean, Burrow does like his tight ends.
I mean, are you going to have Chase? That's the real question.
He traveled to Chicago. He's going to play. Like if I know he
He's
wasn't
playing
there at
this
practice the
weekend?
other day, but like he went to the
Oh, I
preseason
thought he
meetings.
hasn't been practicing at all.
No, he
He
hasn't
has
practiced. No,
practiced.
he hasn't practiced once, but I'm not like
Oh,
worried about him. Like I just think they need to get the contract done is a bigger problem. That's the only thing.
I mean, yeah, he's held out for about a month now.
Held in, okay?
Held in,
He's
sorry.
held in. He's been there. That's way different.
You know what so maybe this is what we should dive into. I think we should talk about the state of the wide receiver market because right now, I think it's the most interesting because Brandon Ayuk has been trying to get traded for
Well,
how
the
long is it,
Brandon
3
Ayuk thing is
months?
crazy to me because I'm like, the Steelers apparently are like, oh, we have the offer, but then the 49ers like, well, we're not gonna do it yet. And then there's this whole like, well, Brandon Ayuk might not do it because he wants to be with a quarterback long term, and the Steelers don't have a quarterback long term. I'm just like, what are we talking about? This
Well,
seems like
then
so
the
much
other thing
conjecture.
is apparently the 49ers and Patriots agreed to a deal, but then Ayuk turned it down. But then he turns around and he's like, I want stability at the quarterback position. But they
You want
just
Russ or
drafted
Justin
Drake
Fields?
May.
I know.
Like it
or Joe Milton.
or Joe Milton.
No.
You're right. Shouldn't get ahead of myself.
No, let's say watch yourself. Joe Milton's about to fool
Dude,
possibly a
people
third
went
fan base.
crazy for that little like run Joe Milton did of like he escaped the sack and then went off to the left.
I will say for like again, this is a tangent, but for Joe Milton, like really one of the most pure talented passers I've seen in college. Like he never really ever put it together at Michigan or at Tennessee, but you won't find someone I think who has a more aesthetic release and ability just to fling it probably out there. It would be kind of crazy though if he did just figure it out in the NFL, which if Joe Milton does do that, then I would never listen to myself on quarterback evaluations again.
No, I mean, again, like when you're evaluating quarterbacks, like, yes, he has all the intangibles, but I do not think if you told him to throw a football straight to a wide receiver standing in front of him, he would throw it accurately into their chest.
I mean, yeah, there's some accuracy issues for sure, but you could say the same for Drake May. I don't know. Drake May is going to start. I don't think there's any like switch up on that. That would be crazy. It would be virtual suicide
for
from the Patriots to take your 4th round pick and start him over your 2nd or 3rd overall pick. You can't do that.
Drake May was the 3rd overall pick in the draft, and Joe Milton was drafted in the 6th round.
Yeah, but anyway, back to the wide receiver conversation.
Yeah, so the reason that we got back, so Ayuk apparently doesn't know what he wants. He wants to be the highest paid wide receiver, but he also wants to stay with the 49ers, but he also wants to get traded, but he also wants a long-term answer. It just seems like he's just kind of waiting for some other team to get involved, but I don't understand who else is going to get involved with paying Ayuk top wide receiver money. Plus the draft
team out there that might. Can I throw a sneaky team out there that might?
Yeah, go ahead.
Their coach made a comment about needing a wide receiver to step up in the worst way. They're waiting for someone to step up. And this is a front office that's aggressive. If Brandon Ayuk went to the Detroit Lions, I wouldn't be shocked.
I would be, and I'm going to tell you why.
Why? Because they have to pay people. They have too much cap issue already.
No, actually. That's not actually the reason. I don't think the 49ers would go for it.
They would be trading him to another contender, yeah.
Well, that, and I just don't think they would value the Detroit draft picks because of where Detroit will probably end the season.
True.
Because if you're trading him to Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh has an uphill battle already to make the playoffs.
But don't they every year?
I know, but again, even if they get in, they're going to be a wild card team. Like Detroit has a very easy road to the NFC champion or the NFC championship if they play their cards correctly.
True, but I do think they will have some pretty serious pushback from the Packers this year.
No, I think they will. Like I think there'll be competition, but it's a much easier road for Detroit to get there than Pittsburgh or the Patriots.
I would agree. Yes, they would value Pittsburgh's draft pick obviously more highly because they're more likely to finish with a more valuable draft pick spot, like 20 or 19 or 18, or if it goes really wrong, they could get a great pick. But
you know who I'm surprised? So on this, because I actually think a better fit, I think CeeDee Lamb is more likely to end up in Detroit than Brandon Ayuk.
I mean, Jerry Jones seems to outwardly hate CeeDee Lamb, and I think he is completely lost at Jerry Jones. I can't believe what he's saying.
I can't believe CD has not formally requested a trade. Like, why is he even there anymore? He shouldn't even show up.
Like, what was that one quote that he was like, we don't,
was
it was
basically
basically
like,
like, we don't care that you're not here.
yeah, and he said one thing of like, we'll figure it out later. Dude, he's a free agent after this year.
So you
He's
can't
your
figure it
best
out later.
player on your entire team.
I know, because if they lose him, I mean, I'm trying to go through the receiving core again in my head for Dallas that they have.
I mean,
right
last
now.
year was Braden Cooks, but he's not there anymore.
Is
I don't
Gallup
even
gone?
know. Gallup retired from the Raiders.
That's right.
And then Tony Pollard left.
Tony Pollard is also gone.
I'm gonna look up the Cowboys depth chart and let's see where it's at. I guess I really haven't been because they signed like no free agents. Their only free agent was Eric Kendricks for a while. But they must have some stuff. All right. Oh, Jalen Tolbert is their number 3. Braden Cooks they say is still there. Is he? I thought he went somewhere else.
No, I think he's still there.
Do you know who their number 1 running back is?
I got no idea.
Zeke.
Oh, it's right. And then they have Rico Dowdle as their number 2.
Yes. And they have Cooper Rush too. Kevontae Turpin is their number 4.
All right. So yeah, basically point is though, Dallas cooked at the skill position spot right now. They kind of need.
Well, the thing is like they have such an issue because they have to decide like CeeDee Lamb's a free agent. You also then have Dak, who's a free agent, and you have to extend Micah Parsons. Like at some point, you have to make some decision.
I mean, I agree. At some point, you do, but obviously, he's not.
Like
Jerry Jones doesn't seem to want to budge on anything at the moment.
Dallas should. At Dallas, if they were smart, they should have sold one of them before the draft.
Probably. But Jerry Jones isn't smart. Like that's the problem with Jerry Jones at this point. He's dumb.
I mean, realistically, right? If you were a team picking in the top 10, like how many of those teams do you think would have bought on a trade for CeeDee Lamb? Like I think the Chargers would have thought about it. I still think they might be thinking about it.
I think, yeah, you could still. There was teams that like I bet they probably wouldn't have traded to the Giants, obviously, because they don't want to go in division. But
like Arizona, they had a million draft
probably
picks.
taking a look at it, especially like I think they probably would have taken a look to go with Kyler or something. I think Arizona thinks they're going to be in a spot this year to go for a playoff spot. At least certainly they should think that way.
I mean, the way that Jerry Jones is running the Cowboys right now is they just somehow snuck out the division last year, and
it's only because the Eagles completely collapsed.
I know, but they still ended up winning it and then collapsed in the playoffs. And then they decided to just run it back with the whole gang.
I mean, I don't know. I've seen the whole show and dance from the Cowboys for years now with Dak and with Mike McCarthy, and it's the same thing. They can have a great they're one of those teams where I feel like you can have a great regular season all you want. But at this point, regular season games are they're not meaningless, but if you show up to the playoffs every year, and whether it's at your own place or on the road in the second round, you just get punched in the face, I'm really not going to pay too much attention to you.
Yeah. I mean, here, let's go through it. Let's do what do they do with these players? If you were the GM, if you were Jerry Jones sitting there right now, you have to either extend CD right now, or he's probably leaving in the next offseason. You have Dak, who's already saying in the media he wants $60 million, and he has 1 year left on his deal. And then you have Micah Parsons, who just finished year 3, who really should have gotten an extension this year.
Yeah.
And then next year is his 5th-year option. How would you navigate, basically, if we're guessing this? If you signed all 3, you're committing about $140 million of cap space.
Probably. So here's how I would answer that. I think the guy you sign for sure is Parsons. I think Parsons is the one that I would hammer down most likely. Position value wise, I know the quarterback is obviously the highest, but he's the kind of guy that can make like a defense, even if it has a bunch of okay players around it, just good because of how much of he brings off the edge. And then it would be tough. Like my answer for Dak is going to be just dependent on the year that he has. I know it's unfair because he's had good seasons, but if you're Dallas and he does the same, like it's the same thing, like what's the point of bringing him back? You know what he is at that point. Like am I wrong to think with Dak Prescott that he's had every opportunity with a ample amount of talent to win playoff games, and he hasn't. Like I think at some point you've seen what you've needed to see, and maybe it's time to look somewhere else.
I mean, I agree with you.
So I think from that standpoint, like I would wait on him. And then Lamb, I would like to have CeeDee Lamb back, because if you ditch the quarterback, then I would like to have at least one stable, surefire weapon in that offense for whoever you bring in next.
Yeah, I think I mostly agree with you. I just think if I were Dallas, I would sell high on CD right now, just because I think you have to commit to a rebuild, to be quite honest. I don't think you can do this half in, half out type
No, you can't.
thing. Like, I think either you got to go in and sign all three and try and run it back and hope, like,
Hope it
okay,
works.
because realistically, over the next 3 years, you're not going to get a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
I don't know.
From where they're going to finish, every year they're going to be at least a middle of the road team.
Can I say something really quick? Just really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
For next year's draft, like, tell me you don't think Jerry Jones is not already staring down Shedeur Sanders. Am I wrong to think that is like he would love that?
Some team is going to draft him way too high.
So I think I agree. I think the Raiders could draft him really high if he's there. And I truly, like, maybe I'm thinking just too much in the world that Jerry Jones lives in, but tell me that he wouldn't just love to have Shedeur Sanders with the Dallas Cowboys. That is that's Jerry's dream practically.
Yeah, I just think some team's going to way overdraft him. Like, they would have to be bad, but I just think, like, I think the only piece you have to re-sign if I'm Dallas is Parsons.
100%.
I think Parsons is the most generational player. Like, you can't let him walk out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you sell CD right now because realistically, you're probably not going to compete this year. And so I think right now you can get a package of 2 first-round picks from some team.
For CeeDee Lamb?
For CeeDee Lamb. I think you can convince some team.
I think you get a first and a second.
Either way.
Like, yeah, you'll get a lot.
I'm
I
thinking
think the return would be super high.
The thing is, you have to make him the highest paid wide receiver in the league as well. And that's what makes the deal a little bit hard. Like, Bleacher Report was putting out opposed deals, and one of them was the Chargers, and it was R1, R3, and Josh Palmer. And to me, that value doesn't feel equal. But
like, I think one team you pinged, Arizona could be a team. I think
Arizona would make sense.
What about Indianapolis? Would that ever be a fit? That would be weird, but they're a team that's a young quarterback. I think they have cap space. They have, but I don't know if that'd be the kind of move that they would make. I don't think it's a very Colts move.
Also, he'd be kind of a weird fit in their current
for the offense that they want to try to run. Yeah.
He'd be a weird, like, there are some teams, like, if the thing is of, like, this is why they needed to sell before the draft, because a lot of these teams I'd be like, oh, this would have made a lot of sense, but they kind of replaced like the teams you'd think, like, right now, New England. Like, New England would be a good fit for CeeDee Lamb, but, like, realistically, are they going to get that done?
Well, I think too, if you're New England again, I think New England is like, same thing with like the Ayuk idea, and some part of, maybe this is part of the decision making, is I feel like making a trade like that is like, okay, we think we're either really close to something or we can compete this year, and we feel like this guy could be a huge difference for us. Like, I don't think New England, if they made that trade, like, right in the future, like 2 years, yeah, sure, but right now, how much does it really help you? Like, does it win you that many games?
That's the thing. Like, you're really hoping that not this year he helps you, it's the year after. Yeah. And so, like, Buffalo would have been a great fit for CD, but, like, they don't have the cap space. The Chargers, again, I think it's kind of like New England. I think they're a year away. Like, I think they'll be good this year. I just don't think CD, he would be great for Justin Herbert, and it would make the offense so much more exciting. But I just don't know the win totals, what that really changes.
What does. Maybe they also looked at it too, just the receiver market, what guys drew this past offseason. I know older guys got traded. There wasn't necessarily a premier top end, like, guys like Allen and Diggs, who are still good players, but they aren't that where Ayuk or CeeDee Lamb is. They didn't get a lot back for
No.
those guys.
That's what I'm saying about the state of the wide receiver market. To me, the wide receiver market feels kind like they're in much different dollar amounts, but I'm going to use this comparison. It feels very similar to the running back market last year, where running backs were like, we need to get paid so much more and we have such high values, and teams are finally being like,
and they almost like didn't
yeah,
running backs were like
no.
unionized. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they tried to unionize, and like all these receivers around the league right now are trying to like gain, and teams are basically just, okay, we'll get rid of you. Like Keenan Allen was like, wouldn't take the restructure from the Chargers, got traded to the Bears, and now he's miserable. He gained 20 pounds.
He's like 230. You didn't say he's like 230
He's 230.
pounds.
And the
he hasn't
crazy
caught a ball
part
against Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, in 2 weeks of training camp, hasn't caught one ball against him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot.
Stephon Diggs. Like, I don't mean to like go in on Stephon Diggs, but like
he's the third option of that offense easily.
And he was the number one in Buffalo.
Like Nico Collins is better. Tank Dell is better.
I think Gabe Davis, if the two were on the open market, I almost think Gabe Davis might have made more money than Stephon Diggs.
Well, Gabe Davis made like no money.
I think he's making like 12, 13.
No,
I mean, it's not actually true. I'm pretty sure he is.
He's making like
Jackson.
Hold on.
Is he actually?
He's not making that much. Gabe Davis was like, respectfully.
I mean, Gabe Davis is really bad.
Gabe Davis.
Sure. He's not very good at all. But like, so like
merchant.
T. Higgins.
Yeah, okay, right? I take it back. 3 years, $39 million. That's a lot more than I actually thought he was going to get.
13. Yeah. Oh, wow. I knew it. But yeah, like T. Higgins is another one. T. Higgins has been hoping for a contract. Nothing. Bengals aren't going to sign him.
That's a little bit of a different situation, though.
Well, I'm just saying it in the wide receiver market right now. There's such like I mean, Jamar Chase again.
Yeah.
Like there's all these receivers right now that are trying to get paid. Mm-hmm. And some teams are showing loyalty, like Amon St. Brown. He got signed this offseason. Like another one, and I'm just going to sound off on this for a second. Davante Adams. Dude, like stop. You're like already the highest paid wide receiver, and he will not stop chirping all offseason about
what did he get really pressed on? Like, what was like the Pop-Tart thing?
The Pop-Tart. No, it was the Pop-Tart thing that the Chargers just their Pop-Tart for the Raiders is always garbage, and he's their star player, and so they just had him on the thing, and he's like, we beat them 63-13 or whatever.
I mean, I actually like Davante Adams as a receiver, and he seems like a nice guy. But to see him actually get upset about a social media post regarding like, oh, here's our opponents and what they would be as Pop-Tart flavors, and Davante Adams just sitting there looking at his phone, seeing his jersey on like a trash Pop-Tart, and sitting there saying to himself like, I fucking hate that. Like that's pretty funny.
Or the other thing of like, even during the wide receiver show on Netflix, where it's like he's just on the sideline, basically just going after Jimmy G, his own quarterback.
Okay, that was hilarious, though. You're gonna tell me that was when I watched that.
No, it's funny, but it's just crazy.
When he was just, what was that one ball? They were playing Detroit, and Jimmy threw that ball way out of bounds, and he just went ballistic on the sidelines.
It's crazy.
But now he wants to go back and be buddies with Aaron Rodgers again. He's like, trade me to the Jets. I would love to be on the Jets.
Everyone wants to be on the Jets.
I don't know why.
Everyone wants to be
there. Did you see Aaron Rodgers' quote today?
No, what did Aaron Rodgers
Galaxy
say?
Brain quote. I don't know if it was from today, but recently. Because apparently, like, that trip that he took during OTAs, like mandatory minicamp, he went to Egypt. Like, that's where he was at.
What was he doing?
And he said in an interview, like, Egypt is one of the few places that lived up to the true hype and I guess aura around it. And he followed it up by saying the only other place that's done that to him is Augusta National, the golf course where they play the Masters at. Does it?
Oh, good.
I was just like, oh, so same plateau. The pyramids.
I'm glad the pyramids are the same as the Masters
in Augusta National. I was like, what are we talking about? So
it's like going to horse racing and being like, man, this is exactly like the Coliseum.
Yeah, this is the Del Mar races. Yeah, this is pretty much Churchill Downs. Like that's, or this is basically the Great Wall of China. That's Del Mar Polo Grounds and the Leaning Tower of Pisa are on the same ballpark. Like, oh,
I think we can
glad you
both
enjoyed.
agree. You know that meme from like a year ago of like that dudes are always thinking about the Roman Empire? Aaron Rodgers is definitely always thinking about the Roman Empire.
I think he thinks about other things though. Like I think his brain operates very similar to Robert Kennedy Jr., like RFK Jr.
Well,
Like he
I mean,
likes
he
him.
was
Like he was
almost
almost
his
his running
running
mate.
mate.
Actually, that's
Yeah.
true. I mean, maybe Aaron Rodgers also had a parasite in his brain, or currently does. That is
No,
like,
the crazy thing about RFK, and not to go off on some tangent, but the horse thing in Central Park. Did you
or
hear
the
about
fact that
this?
he's training ravens.
No,
Yeah,
you
didn't
heard
he?
about the horse carcass that he brought to Central Park?
Yeah, I did hear about that. It's I don't know, dude. That guy is out of control. Again, we've talked about, like, again, we don't want to make this like, but the fact that like Aaron Rodgers is almost like, yeah, that's my fucking dog, and I'm gonna ride with him. That's crazy.
Rodgers almost quit football to be his running mate.
Okay, that would have been like top 20 funniest things I think I've ever seen in sports history. If Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers stopped playing football and dropped the rest of his cash to go be the vice president for RFK Jr.
I will say, and this is on the Aaron Rodgers thing, my favorite video for any time and is Aaron Rodgers running out with the like flag
Yeah.
whenever they want to show. Like somebody posted that for JJ McCarthy today.
Like JJ McCarthy season highlights.
Yeah. And it's just Rodgers running out with the flag.
I distinctly remember watching that game. Aaron Rodgers' Achilles just exploding. Second
Play 4.
Yeah, play 4. It's just like
Second drop back.
I don't think the Jets are going to be good, by the way. People were like,
Really?
Super Bowl team. I don't think so.
I mean, we'll see. I feel like
I think, okay, can I say why?
Okay.
I think Nathaniel Hackett's an idiot. I don't know why he only has a job because he's Aaron Rodgers' friend. Like, I get that the Jets were okay last year. That was mainly because of the defense and who they played down the stretch. But, like, I think Nathaniel Hackett's an idiot. I don't think the skill position guys are really that good. I know, I know that they have Garrett Wilson. That's great. Breece Hall's good if they actually use him, but I don't know. I'm underwhelmed by the Jets. The defense will be great again. I don't look at the people are saying like, oh, Super Bowl team. I don't see it.
So the thing is of like, and this is there. I'm gonna compare them to a team, and I think people will disagree. They feel very Bearsy to me, but not the Bears this year because Caleb Williams is legit. I'm saying the Bears last year, where like going into the season, everyone was
good.
Like, oh my God, they got Justin Fields, and Justin Fields is going to take a huge step forward. And they got DJ Moore, and they fleeced the Panthers and all this stuff, right? Yeah. And then they come in and they're just whatever. Like, I think the Jets can be good. The thing is, of like, the Jets buy high on injury-prone players
Mike
who
Williams.
were good like 3 years ago. And Mike Williams is a prime example of what I'm talking about. Of like, they pick out all of these players who were stars and potentially could be again. But like, they're not anymore, and they're way overpaid, and then they get hurt, and then it's just like, whatever.
It's just a sad state of affairs.
I mean, Mike Williams is the ultimate. I've said it many times. Like, I am not a big Mike Williams person, even though he was a Chargers player.
And like, what is it like? Like Alan Lazard is slowly just morphing into Randall Cobb 2.0 that like Aaron Rodgers likes him, so he's on the team.
Sort of. And I mean, everyone acted like he's so bad.
Garrett Will.
Garrett Wilson really good. Like their offensive line, right? What they decided to replace their tackles with. Huge tackle issue, right?
Yeah.
So to make my point, their current left tackle is 39-year-old Tyrone Smith.
Yeah.
Again,
that's a huge question mark.
Injury-prone player, paid way too much money for the snaps. Their other side is Morgan Moses, another 37-year-old tackle who also has extensive injury history. And while, yes, they did get Fashanu in the draft, he's currently not their starter.
Yeah.
Or Fashanu. Sorry. But, and then their entire offensive line was hurt. Like Elijah Vera Tucker, great player, but can't stay on the field right now. And then, this thing with Hassan Reddick.
Oh, he just did like great job by the Jets. Just another masterclass.
Like what? He requested a trade from a team he was traded to this year?
And then what did he say? Or like, what did the owner say? That he's like, we are not gonna bend, like basically we're
Yeah.
not gonna bend the knee to the commands of a player who's never played one snap with us. Everyone's like, you did the same thing with Aaron Rodgers last year. You let Aaron Rodgers come in who'd never played a snap and tell you exactly what you're gonna do.
I mean, that's also true, but the other
I
part
know it's
about
different,
Hassan,
but it's like, right, that's an outward lie, what you just said. You will let players dictate what you want to do.
but the other thing about the Hassan Reddick thing is like, why did they trade for it? Like, I assume they were very upfront of like, hey, we want an extension.
Yeah.
I mean, he was traded there.
It's just an
He wasn't a
example of
free
why you
agent.
shouldn't make trades like this unless you know you have an extension set up to do it.
Or the player has multiple years of control. Cause like,
Yeah. I mean, because now they look like idiots. Like again, he wants to leave. He's never played there, and I don't think he has any intention of playing there.
I don't think so either. I think he's gonna sit out the season and call it a career.
Like, what was it? I think he made a joke on like April Fool's Day or something. Someone pointed something out about an April Fool's Day joke that he made.
I don't know. I haven't seen
I
this.
gotta look it up. Let me see. I remember reading it the other day.
I mean, it's just such a weird situation. This is why, like, the Jets, no matter what, and going on to another New York team, while you figure this out, the hype around Malik Neighbors in the Giants, like, it's great and dandy, and like everyone wants to point out that he was open during the preseason. Which, by the way, that play that everyone was acting like he was wide open, he was completely covered, and that safety would have picked off any ball that was thrown to him. It needs to stop. Daniel Jones is still his quarterback. For however good Malik Neighbors is, all these people that are saying that the Cardinals already regret taking Marvin Harrison over Malik Neighbors based on preseason football, you have to be kidding me.
Well, if he would have just thrown the ball into cover 2.
I mean, yeah. I don't even know who was playing quarterback, but the idea that people were like, oh, look at how open he is with the corner sitting on the route and then the safety like running towards him.
Like, again, as we texted about this, like after we had seen people complaining, it's like, all right, that's an interception 9 times out of 10, or it's a broken up practically 10 out of 10 times.
Or there's like 4 quarterbacks who can make that throw.
Yeah,
and it's
there's
basically
really
Herbert.
Did he cut out? That would be tragic. There's a possibility that just happened. Wow. He was going to say Herbert. He was going to say Allen. He was going to say Mahomes. And he's probably going to say Lamar Jackson. I'll have to text him and see, though. I feel like his Wi-Fi cuts out quite often, which is crazy.
I'm back.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I was about to just make a joke about dual income and bad Wi-Fi. That's crazy. But
we have good Wi-Fi. I just have a very old computer that
maybe we should invest.
I mean, I could use my work one, but I don't need it.
Yeah. Hey, Kelly, hook it up with a Christmas present there, bud.
I don't need that. All right. What did you find out about what
I didn't see anything on that. I didn't find it. I was just naming off the people that you were going to say for the people who could make that throw, which is going to be Herbert, Allen, Mahomes, and then I was going to say maybe like Lamar, like just off of pure arm strength.
Oh, I said Burrow.
I don't think Burrow would ever throw that ball unless he had to. I think he could make the throw, but I just think he's one of the like.
I don't even know if Lamar can make. I think CJ Stroud could probably make that throw.
Stroud probably could. Just like a little throwback to last year when I said the Texans were going to win 9 games, and
yeah, that was
Clark. That was a heater of a prediction, by the way.
But you want to hear? That was a great prediction. But you want to hear the next crazy thing? So people are like, "Oh, Super Bowl champs." Okay, let's cool it.
They won't be. I don't think that they will. Okay, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Who's the worst team in football this year going to be?
I think probably the New England Patriots.
Wow, you think the Patriots?
Yeah, I just think they're like the most rebuildy team. Like I don't think they even expect to win right now, to be honest. Just from reading the tea leaves, like another team that can be really bad. I think Carolina is going to be really bad again. And so
I think they're also going to be horrible. That video of Bryce Young showing up to training camp day 1 where he looked like an 8th grader, that was a tough look if you're a Panthers fan.
Like
I think, want to see.
I think they're gonna be really bad. Low key, a team that I think could be really bad and no one's talking about. I think the New Orleans Saints could
I
be
think,
really
okay,
bad.
I was literally about to say that. I think the New Orleans Saints are going to be the worst team in football this year. I think they're
I
terrible.
think they could be really. Did you see the report that they're thinking about trading Derek Carr?
Yeah,
to
it's like the Vikings.
Vikings?
The Vikings have called in Spencer Rattler starting.
Yeah.
At least that'd be like interesting. I would actually, if I was a Saints fan, prefer Spencer Rattler to start to at least like be stupidly entertaining than watch Derek Carr go out there and do that.
I
Same
guess
shit
it
again.
depends on like what your expectations are, because I think there are Saints fans who think that they can win the NFC South.
But they can't.
They can't. They're bad. Do they?
They're a bad team. They're a bad old team with terrible cap situations.
That's the thing. Like they never did what the Chargers just did this offseason, where it was super painful for everyone, where they just ripped the Band-Aid off. I mean, they traded Keenan Allen, they got rid of Mike Williams, they made Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack restructure. Saints have never done that.
No,
They're just like, okay, we'll just roll it into next year, and then we'll just add Derek Carr, a $40 million quarterback, onto this team.
Everything I see with the Saints is just like, okay, Derek Carr, he's not terrible. He's not good. He's just not very good. He's just meh. Dennis Allen, I mean, as a head coach, not good.
No.
Team old as hell around everywhere. Like everyone is old. Like Cameron Jordan's one of the best pass rushers of the last probably 15, 20 years since he's come out of Cal. Like cool, but realistically, everywhere else in that team, I'm just like, isn't Tyrann Mathieu still starting for them?
Yeah, and Marshawn Lattimore still.
Yeah, not good.
I'm gonna look.
I don't know. I just look at the Saints and I see a team.
They still have
going,
Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, but Alvin gets hurt all the time. And there's only so many screens you can run.
Oh my god. Do you know who their top 3 receivers are? So
Mike Thomas is still there, right?
No.
Raheem Shaheed.
He is their number 2.
Hold on. Chris Olave is their number 1.
Yeah.
Olave's a guy, but that's a guy right there that's going to leave. I bet you Chris Olave doesn't end his career in New Orleans, certainly. He probably leaves somewhere else.
You'll never guess their 3.
Hold on. Oh, do they still have a Juwan Johnson?
He's their starting tight end, yeah. Another really old player.
Didn't they bring back Jimmy Graham last year too at some point? I think that they did.
Yes.
I couldn't tell you who the number 3 receiver is though.
A.T. Perry.
Good
their
crew.
Number 4, Cedric Wilson. Number 5, Equiminius St. Brown.
Yeah, well, respect Equiminius, please.
Best
Great
blocking wide receiver in the league.
He's
they have Chase Young now.
I'm so out on him. I thought he was really going to make an impact in San Francisco. I thought that was going to be a great, I really did believe that pairing him in San Francisco would be a really mutually beneficial pairing. And he, again, just opted to just take 75% of the plays off. And I don't get it.
So now I'm looking at the Saints. This is why, I don't understand them. Right. So their corners are good. They have good young corners. So they have Paulson Adebo, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Alontae Taylor. If you were to hear that, great top 3. But they still have Marshawn Lattimore. Why don't they just shed that cap at this point? Just rip it off.
I think part of it is the ownership group doesn't really want to admit that to the fan base for some reason. But again, I think the NFL is so different from a baseball rebuild, because an NFL rebuild can legitimately take a year.
It can be one season.
It can be one season and it's over with. Case in point, the Bengals, we tried to do it with Andy Dalton for at least 5 years, where we're just well, if we give him more weapons, if we try to do this, if we get him a new head coach, younger, if we, revamp the defense. And finally in 2019, after that season, they're we're ripping it all off. Every one of these guys you they're gone. We're going to try to bring in new, younger guys. Guess what? You found a generational quarterback. It's all fine. It works out.
I mean, I can't believe you didn't go with the Texans.
Well, Texans, Texans are the same way. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, they're the same point. Is that you find the quarterback and it'll be okay.
Well, they found Derek Carr.
All right. No. But yeah, again, the rebuild in the NFL can last one season, and that sucks as a one season to be a fan, because that's a year gone and you got to hear it, and it's not fun.
But the thing is, if I were sitting as the GM of the Saints, I would be trying to rebuild, because the NFC South is so weak right now that you can just retool.
Like even as good as I think Atlanta will be a good team this year. The reality is Kirk Cousins is older, injured, and if that's the top team in there right now, there's no reason that you can't sneak up quick on them. I know Michael Penix
And
got drafted, but
the thing about the Falcons is it's all projection. Just like,
it
well,
is.
Kyle Pitts should be a good player. Bijan Robinson should be a good player.
Drake London should take another step forward.
Like, it's all projection. Like,
Of a
just
team that
because they
still,
spent.
by the way, has 0 pass rush. I like Matthew Judon, cool. He had 4 sacks last year.
I mean, he was also hurt.
I know, but like, I feel like it doesn't move me, Matthew Judon being there now.
I'm not going to lie. I'm glad you brought it up. I think the value is horrible.
Well, you
Matthew
what, a third rounder?
For 1 year,
Yeah.
a third round pick.
I get you're trying to go all in this season if you're Atlanta because of the team that you have going around right now, and you really think you can like do something NFC. But I still look at Atlanta, and I like if I was a team in the NFC who is younger and going in and playing a game, I would not be afraid to play Atlanta.
So this is the thing. Like, if I were Atlanta, I would have called up the Jets and tried to get Hassan Reddick. I would rather Hassan Reddick than Matthew
I think Hassan Reddick right now in his career is a more impactful. I know he doesn't serve much help outside of rushing the passer, but that's what he gets paid to do, and he's quite good at it over the years.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, they have Raheem Morris, so hopefully, I guess they'll figure it out. But
the Falcons are just a weird team. Like again, if you were going to sign Cousins, what was the point of taking Penix in the first round?
it makes no. I mean, again, and they explain it time and time again of like, oh, we expect that we're not going to be in the top 10, and it's like, yeah, but
you still took the 25-year-old quarterback, 25-year-old quarterback who's had 2 major knee surgeries, and at the best case scenario, where if Cousins plays like he's supposed to, he won't see the field till he's 28. This isn't a Jordan Love situation.
The thing that doesn't make sense, right, is like you sign Kirk Cousins thinking, okay, our window is these next 2 or 3 years. That's it. You don't future plan by signing Kirk Cousins to that deal. There's no future planning there. No, because it's a win now move.
Yeah.
If you're going to make win now moves, you got to be a win now team. You can't then just be half in, half out.
Well, yeah, again, like perfect example. Like, yes, I know it's honing in on Penix, and whoever knows, Penix could end up being a good quarterback, but the move should have been to take a pass rusher in the first round. Like that should have been it. A move, I think.
Yeah.
Like they have no one along the line,
and they had everything. I mean, a defensive player literally.
Everyone, like any defensive player that they wanted, fell to them. Like they could have had anyone.
Okay, so this can be our final point because I've wanted to say this for a while, and it's going to be controversial. The Packers still did not make the right move drafting Jordan Love back when they did. They did not win a champ. They had Aaron Rodgers. Again, it's a win now move. If you're a win now team, you have to make win now moves. They have not won a championship since then. And the goal is to win championships, just not be long-term good. Yes, the Packers could eventually win a championship, but they haven't yet.
I don't think that they regret that move.
No, I'm not saying that they don't. But again, it's the idea of looking back, was it the right move? Everyone would say yes, because Jordan Love is a good quarterback. And I'm not saying that he's not. I'm just saying that they should have spent that pick still on a skill position and tried to win a Super Bowl when they had Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know. I get what you're saying. That when they had Rodgers, they probably should have win now mode. They probably could have gone receiver that year. They could have actually.
They could have had Brandon Ayuk.
I was about to say they could have done that. I was trying to think of back to the wide receiver class from that year. But yeah, they could have had a guy like Ayuk. I don't think you sit there right now and you're the Packers. I know you didn't win the Super Bowl with Rodgers. You obviously envisioned getting a second one, but you're also set up with a guy right now who looks like he could win you maybe 1 or 2.
He could.
Like I think
Jordan Love is the most overrated player in the league right now.
I think that's harsh. I actually really like Jordan Love. I think he should. I mean, I know it was a heater of an end of the season, and you still probably need. I still would like to see some more. But actually, if we're going to be really honest about Jordan, he did sort of sell that 49ers game. They should have won that game. By the way, no one wants to talk about that.
I mean, again, Jordan Love had a great last 8 games and won them a playoff game. But you know who else did that? A year earlier, Trevor Lawrence. And look at what Trevor Lawrence was the next year. Trevor Lawrence had an amazing back half, beat the Chargers, came all the way back, and then lost to the Chiefs. And then this year, he was horrible.
I think it's a different situation, though. I think Jordan Love, I think Matt LaFleur is a way better head coach.
I agree. I'm not saying.
From what I told you last year, that I think Dontavian Wicks is going to end up being like AJ Brown. Watch for that this season.
We'll see. We'll see
I
what
think
the Packers are. Again,
I
I'm not ruling them out. I just think I'm not fully in on the Jordan Love thing just because, like, if I were the Packers, I would have not paid him yet.
get what you're saying. I
definitely
feel like
would've.
they kind of they didn't have to, but they were in a spot where isn't he the highest paid, or is he?
He's the highest paid quarterback in the league now.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's a little crazy. But that's just kind of the way the market goes. But I don't know.
Still, but
I
mean,
like
good
Love a
for
lot.
him.
Like I'm a big fan of what Jordan Love looks like he might be. Could I be wrong? Certainly, but like I think like if Love continues on the trajectory that he's on, then Green Bay should be probably the best team in the NFC, one of the best two teams in the NFC for a bit here. Because realistically, the NFC has quarterback comparison wise, no one else talent wise, I think that stacks up with him at the moment. Like Kyler's really good. I like Kyler.
There's one player I think that does.
Hold on. Well, Stafford's still out there.
That's not who I was thinking. But,
hold on, let me think.
But again, it's a projection thing. That's what I'll tell you.
Projection thing. Why am I just blanking on names now?
He's in the same division. It's
Caleb. Oh, wait.
I think if Caleb Williams.
Yeah, Caleb. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Caleb. Yeah, obviously. But
I mean, again, if Caleb hits, Caleb is probably a top 4 quarterback in the league.
You're gonna see early. Caleb's a guy I feel like I love.
I mean, he has all the weapons right now.
I know. There's really no excuse early.
There's no excuse for the guy.
Well, the head coach could be the excuse. I think Eberflus is an idiot, but
I mean, I think so too. And oh, it's not Luke Gatesy anymore. He's with the Raiders. Yeah, but Caleb has like
got to be good early, especially again, like that's the position though. I think that like Green Bay and to your point, Chicago are in right now. Like if you can figure out a way to be good and you can figure out the quarterback point, all the other good quarterbacks are in the AFC.
That's the thing.
If you can figure it out, you're set. You should be in title games almost every year, at the very least.
Let's end on this note because we're talking about NFC quarterbacks. You are currently in the San Francisco front office. What are you doing with Brock Purdy? Are you making him the highest paid player in the NFL?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm definitely not making him the highest paid.
Because that's what he's gonna demand. And
I think he's foolish to demand that because
he's gonna get it too.
I don't think he's gonna. I've not from San Francisco at least. I don't think San Francisco should give it to him. There's really no reason to give it to him.
I think that's why they're getting rid of Ayuk. I think because they know they won't be able to afford it.
I don't know. I think he's so much part. Like I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a solid quarterback. I just think so much of it is scheme and just the weapons around him. I think San Francisco so often gets overlooked for the fact that it's Devo, it's Ayuk, it's McCaffrey, it's Kittle. It's everyone. Like there's no. It's Kyle Shanahan who's outside of Super Bowls the best offensive mind in football. Besides Andy Reid.
Yeah.
I don't pay him though. I wouldn't.
So I feel very similarly about Purdy how I feel about Love. I think Love is a better player than Purdy is right now. But I think they are both carried by their scheme to a certain extent.
Big time.
I think both players are. I think Love has more physical talent. I think Purdy's a little bit smarter with the football. But I wouldn't have paid either of them. I wouldn't have paid Trevor Lawrence either. So, I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Again,
Trevor Lawrence was a quick draw on the pay. Yeah,
I wouldn't have paid Trevor. I wouldn't. At the time, he became the highest paid quarterback, and then Love passed him. I mean, the craziest thing is it's not as true for Burrow, but like Herbert, right? When he signed last August, first day of training camp, highest paid player in the NFL. He is now number 6 in 1 year.
I mean, it's probably going to eventually end up happening for Burrow. He's going to start sliding down this tree here.
Do you know where Josh Allen is?
He's very low. He's probably like 8.
He's 14. Do you know where Mahomes is?
He's so far down it now. That contract is so nice, actually. I don't know
11.
where
he's 11.
That's still crazy.
Also, by the way, he might be 12 now with Love. I don't remember where he fits because like both of those deals kind of happen close to each other. Because Tua got paid too.
That's the word. Actually, we won't talk anymore. But that one is terrible. I can't believe they did that.
Third.
I can't
highest paid
believe
player
the
in the
Miami
league.
Dolphins decided to willingly hitch their wagon to that shit. I like Tua is a great guy, all-time good guy, but as soon as it gets to a tick below 60 degrees, he has no shot. And the thing is, Miami has shown that like they're not going to win enough games to be they're not going to win enough games to be a home playoff team the entire time of the playoffs.
Also, you
Like
want to talk
it's just
about
like think about if you're Miami, like the consensus is at this point in the AFC, if you want to go win the AFC title, you have to go to Arrowhead. I see no way in which Tua Tagovailoa ever wins a playoff game in Arrowhead at any point. If it ever gets to that point, that will be one of the worst games you will ever watch. Like it
you
was
wanna
already.
talk
I know
about-
it was like practice. It was like so cold the last time they played, where beers were exploding outside of cases. How cold it was in that wild card game, but there's no way that the Miami Dolphins will make a Super Bowl with Tua, and they won't ever beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead or even in Miami for a playoff game.
No.
That was a mistake.
Yeah. You want to talk about a scheme merchant?
I wonder what Mike McDaniel thought about that.
I mean, he had to sign off on it.
I know he had to sign off on it, but like,
there's no way he must have been behind it. I mean, again, and
like
this is
there's
what
levels
I'm
to being behind it. There's levels to being behind it.
This is what I'm saying about Dak Prescott. To round back on this, is like, on some level, like you have to know like he's not good enough to get us there, but we're not gonna get a better replacement.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's just
Unless if
at
you
some
would
point you
draft
know
it,
what a
Joe
guy
Milton.
is. At some point, you know what a guy is.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows what Tua is. Just like everyone mostly knows what Purdy is, to be honest.
No, I think like guys like Purdy. I think like I really at this point, like I know what Dak is. Like I think Dak is a good quarterback. I don't expect Dak to win a Super Bowl at any point.
No,
I don't see that. Maybe that's
I don't
mean,
see it
but
either. The only way that I see him going to a Super Bowl is like if you just like dropped him onto like, I don't even know. I don't even know it. Maybe like, I don't even have a comparison. Maybe like the Giants, just because they have a bunch of young talent, but I still don't think they'd win a Super Bowl.
No, I don't know.
I'd have to think of a team that like has all this young talent, but just like it would have been the Jets, but like
there is no one right now that I see. I'm like,
No.
I mean, it wouldn't even matter if he gets traded. I'm just saying, like in the state that he's in, like I don't really ever see Dak, unfortunately, winning anything.
Yeah. Well, this has been From the Back Seat. Welcome back, everyone.
We will be back next week. I promise. At some point, we were not going to just wither away. We have said this so many times. We are making a strict schedule for this. Okay?
Yes.
We actually will probably start posting stuff again on social media, if you can believe
Hopefully.
that.
If you guys haven't been checking out Clark, he's been getting some clicks on the old Padres Twitter. If you have been around there,
some real good analytical ball talk.
People love analytics ball talk. And what I find funny, and not to like, since this is the end of the episode, I can say this. Analytics ball talk is just kind of you going to Fangraphs and like messing with their settings and then posting it. And then other people just stealing your tweets.
No, that was okay. People stealing my that didn't like bother me, but it was just stupid. It's like, all right, I sit there and I watch the minor league affiliates of the Padres. I record my own stats from that, and someone just steals it. Like, that's lame. Like
you've been watching minor league games?
Yeah, I watch the minor league games.
Really?
I watch the Storm. I don't watch the Missions. I watch Fort Wayne. Yeah, I watch them. How do you think I know so much about all these random guys like Ethan Long? They're not random, but Isaiah Lowe, Jack Costello, who I'm interviewing tomorrow. All these guys.
I don't know.
He's a 10th
round.
I'm
not that interested. Again, I'm not like I'm not really a baseball guy, to be honest. So I like the Padres when they're good, but like,
so fair.
I think I had enough trauma from when I was a kid of that they were just perpetually bad that I just
Different
always
era.
assumed, yeah, but they're just always going to let me down until they don't.
They're not going to let you down this year.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Every Dodger fan has been saying that for the last 20 years.
Well, they're allergic to losing in the big moment. We know that.
I mean, how will you feel, right, if the Padres get the bye and then they lose in the first round? Will you want to get rid of the bye or the
No.
second? It would be the
No.
second round.
If you complain about the bye, it's just your own problem as a team. Like, it's a bye.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just
there's
that's
not
like
a realistic
hockey
team out there that's
point.
like, oh, I would not like 3 fresh days to set my bullpen, set my rotation whichever way I want. The other team's coming in with their number 3 pitcher coming in at best, or the number 2, and I get to line up whatever I want to get. No, there's no way. You get home field
What about
advantage.
the momentum?
I mean, momentum is a real thing. Like, I think there is certainly help, but I think momentum can be stopped in its tracks by a team that is able to successfully evaluate what they're seeing in front of them. There's no way that a bye, like, if you fucking wank about the bye as a team, like Dodgers fans come on, like, just shut up. That's ridiculous. You
Yeah.
guys are being insane.
Well, this has been From the Backseat. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like. Make sure to follow us on all audio platforms. We will be back next week. We will be on a schedule. We will be figuring it out. From the Backseat is officially back for the NFL season. We will be covering your favorite team, whoever that may be.
Or
And this has
won't,
been-
or you won't. We won't.
Yeah, or we just won't talk
Or we
about that.
won't.
Because
Yeah,
we
sorry.
will never be talking about like the Commanders, to be
No,
honest.
unless
Unless if Jaden
J-
Daniels looks great like week 2, we won't ever cover them.
Yeah. Or Brian Robinson, just comeback player of the year award. Maybe, who knows?
The only time we'll ever talk about the Browns is when they inevitably beat the Bengals.
Or they don't do that, and Deshaun Watson gets charged for his crimes.
Well, this has been From the Backseat. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Have a good one.